Good morning, good morning, good morning, beautiful people. How is it going? How is it going? We're in this week of August 5th. Welcome to a beautiful, sunny Tuesday morning. Welcome to Daily Motivations for African American Success, where we've been coming to you, I believe, on the 189th day of daily motivations for African American success. So welcome to the barbecue. If you're old school or if you're new school coming in with me today, welcome, welcome, welcome to daily motivations for African American success. If you're out there, well, yeah, say good morning. I see that we have some people that are coming in. So go ahead and drop the good morning, good everything. Hopefully, Miss Brenda's out there too. So, you guys, how is it going and how was your yesterday? Big Mike says, good morning, everyone. May your day be filled with blessings and joy. Amen. May your day be filled with blessings and joy. So, let's jump right into it. I think Brandon is going to be joining us this morning. I probably should have checked to be sure, but no messages. I did just check. So I think he's going to be joining us. So, but let's just get right into it. I'm going to say, well, maybe I should share a story here. Um, I had another beautiful encounter yesterday. So as Brandon prepares to come in, I will share that story with you guys. So I've shared it with Big Mike. You actually reminded me of the story. So just your presence, I should say. Um, so I'm doing my thing. Let me get Brandon in. Morning, Brandon. Uh,
Can you hear me?
yeah, we can now.
Awesome. Good, good. Good morning, sweetie. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good.
I was
Sipping tea
going.
this morning instead of coffee.
I started to give your plate away.
My my
Your
plate.
barbecue plate.
Oh yeah. I was like, hold up now.
Yeah.
Giving my
You
food
using some
away.
real food, huh? You thinking about real
Yeah,
food.
we was about to fight. Somebody.
Yeah.
I was gonna fight somebody. Not you, but
Yeah.
somebody.
So I was in getting ready to share a story and just kind of wait for you to pop in.
Hmm.
So yesterday I'm doing my thing, you guys, at work, and I hear this lady tell another lady that had walked over to her basket at Walmart, and they were talking about something that they're starting to drink in the morning. So one lady was sharing it with the lady who was purchasing it, and so the lady walked over just to make sure she got the right stuff. And so, me out there doing my thing, I'm there to create conversation for sure, but I just like people and I like hearing about what they're doing. So I asked, I said, wait a minute, what are you guys drinking? Because I need some healthy stuff too. And she looks at me, it's like, you don't need this. We're trying to get like you, trying to get small like you. And we laughed about it, and one went on her way, and the other came over and talked to me. So she's sharing her story with me, and life has happened to her. Like life has really happened to her. She saw her mom be killed she was 17. She saw her mom be killed at the age of 17 right in front of her. And of course, that age, and then what was put upon her, which her mom said, take care of my babies. Do not let the system get my babies. So imagine this at age 17. So long story short, things happened in between that. She was able the best she could to keep the family together. But of course, 17 years old, losing your mom in the manner, anyway, of losing your mom, any age for sure, is taxing on us. So as we talked more and more, she asked when is my birthday, And when I told her when my birthday is, she just paused and it seemed like forever. And she said, "That's my mom's birthday."
Mm.
So, and there were so many more connections, so many more things like, "You got to be kidding me. You got to be kidding me," to the point where we was just like hugging and people are looking at us, because, um, and she said, "Thank you." She said, this is not an accident. And for her, and she was able to pour into me too. And that was a beautiful thing. Before leaving, she was able to tell me some things that I needed to do. After just hearing a little bit about my life, she was able to pour into me some things that I needed to hear. So, y'all, I'm just telling you, for me, it's another indication of alignment, Godspeed, holy anticipation, that while I'm out there doing my job, that God is allowing me to bless people and people are blessing me, right? So I just thought, wow, God, how awesome you are. How awesome you are. And if we would, like we talked about yesterday, if we would just be there, if we be present, have faith, right? Holy anticipation, asking God for what we need, right? So that's it. Another holy encounter. That's why I'll say I had another holy encounter
Mm.
with a sister. So I love it. So that's it.
Wow. Thanks for sharing, Mama.
You're welcome.
That's pretty cool that you're having those encounters, pretty much daily now or every other day. Um, and,
Yeah.
and, and then also maybe you're in a space to, and maybe it happens to everyone, but you're existing in a space to where you're noticing, you're aware of them.
Hmm.
So imagine if these things happen every day, but we're so in our phones, or we're so disconnected, or we're so stressed, in some situations
Mm.
that they're not you know, many people are not noticing the serendipities of life, or um, the things, the situations where coincidence doesn't really fit the description, or how things worked out. You say, no, there's something else at play here. I don't quite know what it is. I can't put my finger on it, but I know it has its finger on me. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And so that's a intimacy, I think, with God, and with His decree, um, that I think maybe many could experience, but that if you are experiencing, just remain. I would say just remain grateful for it the way you are,
Yes.
and and may it benefit you, and may it benefit them. So that was a good story, Mom. Appreciate it.
Yeah. 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 It was a blessing on both ends. And again, we exchanged numbers and chatted a little bit last night. Because there were so many things that we were like, "What? You kidding?" I'm like, "No, I'm not." What? Another one. So I won't get into all of that, but I just wanted you guys to know, as we've been saying all along, there's a shift happening in all of our lives that come here and go back and do the work. I can't even speak for those who, I can't, just for who come here, you know, because I haven't heard the stories. So I won't put anything on the plate that I don't know about. So I'll just say, you guys, be present. Be present, be faithful. Um, Spend time with God. Pray, meditate, right? Seek, ye shall find. Knock, and the door shall be answered. And be willing to pick up what you find, right? And when the door is opened, be willing to walk through it. Don't stand in the mirror gazing into yourself. Walk away and forget what you saw in the gaze. Believe in yourself. Know that y'all ain't seen nothing yet. Because, like Steve Harvey says, I'm just foolish enough to believe that God will do what he said he would do. Over to you, Brandon.
Thank you, thank you. I sent the information for IG.
Sorry.
Um, no, you're fine. You're fine. Sent it over. I just want to see if we can pull those people in, see who all we got there. Um, but y'all, if after that story, thank you again, Mom. Welcome to the In This Season podcast, day 188, maybe something like that. We appreciate you guys for being here with us, and then also giving us the space in your home, in your mind, in your morning routine. Um, Giving us that space, giving us that time means a lot to us. We're grateful to you. So thank you for attending the show. It is for that reason, for that change, for the opportunity of transformation and success that we wake up every morning. The opportunity for you, the opportunity for us that we wake up every morning and read this book. What book am I talking about? Daily Motivations for African American Success, written by Dennis Kimbro. This book will help you focus on the thoughts, attitudes, and deeds that will lead to the achievement of your true goals. In 365 short, powerful motivations, one for each day of the year, Dennis Kimbro leads us to discover how to use the present moment and our own gifts to transcend labels, cultivate a positive attitude, become wise enough to know when to say yes and when to say no, and to look inward for answers to life's challenges. So each motivation begins with words of wisdom or a quote from such distinguished and celebrated African Americans as Malcolm X, Marion Wright Elderman, Whoopi Goldberg, Charlene Hunter Galt, Bill Cosby, Carl Rowan, Mother Hale, Reverend Leon Sullivan, and hundreds of others. This treasure trove of practical inspiration will give you fresh encouragement every day of the year, but what it teaches will last you a lifetime. So again, thank y'all for joining us. And Mom, without further ado, if you are ready to go, we can jump right into the passage.
Let's jump right into the passage.
All
We'll say
right.
the good mornings afterwards.
Okay, you sure? Okay.
We have a few people that have jumped in. Auntie Richetta, I'll go ahead. Auntie Richetta says, good morning, Butterfly and everyone and family. Shasta says, good morning. Shasta, I hope you heard that story yesterday about Albany. Um, Shasta says, yes, God is awesome. Amen. And then Kayla says, good morning. All right. Good morning, everybody. Thank you and welcome to the barbecue.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let's jump right into it. Today's August 6th title is Scared Straight. Scared Straight. And our quote comes from John H. Johnson, who's the founder of Johnson Publishing Company. And he said, every day I run scared. That's the only way I can stay ahead. Every day I run scared. Only way I can stay ahead. As more and more of us leap into the choppy waters of the business world, we face the challenging prospects of failure. Will we succeed or fail? Do we have what it takes to capitalize on our knowledge, market our wares, and stay afloat in a sea of black, not red, ink? Because of the ever present possibilities of failure, many of us are afraid to take the risks that success requires. One of the best ways to
Let's see
overcome
here.
our
Hey,
fear.
Brandon,
Hmm.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I think we're okay now. I think we lost you for a minute. We lost us for a minute. Sorry about that, you
Oh,
guys. Looks like
I saw you
technology is
freeze up a
happening
little
today,
bit.
but that's okay.
Okay. Yeah, I saw you
Hmm.
kind of freeze up a little bit, but
Yeah,
it looks okay.
yeah,
Okay. Sorry
yeah.
about
If
the
you don't
quiet
mind, maybe
there.
start over.
Okay, sure.
If you don't mind, maybe start over. Okay, thanks.
As more and more of us leap into the choppy waters of the business world, we face the challenging prospects of failure. Will we succeed or fail? Do we have what it takes to capitalize on our knowledge, market our wares, and stay afloat in a sea of black, not red, ink? Because of the ever present possibilities of failure, many of us are afraid to take the risks that success requires. One of the best ways to overcome our fears is to analyze the ingredients of failure. Let's spell it. Failure, F. Fear, frustration, futility, falling short. A. Anger, anxiety, adversity. I, impatience, indifference, impulsiveness. L, lethargy, laziness. U, unworthiness, uselessness. R, regret, remorse, resentment. And E, envy, egotism, and emotionalism. All those spell failure. We're probably familiar with some of these characteristics, but the only way to overcome them is to force these culprits into the open and no longer deny them. From looking at them deeply, we realize that these characteristics are remnants of old inadequacies and beliefs from the past. Excuse me. Now, here's our chance to blast through them. Do you have a dream? Is there a business you have secretly longed to launch? Are you avoiding starting your business because of the fear of failure? If you answered yes, learn to analyze the fear of failure and begin to overcome it. And our daily motivation and affirmation at the end of the page, at the end of the passage, excuse me, reads, I will encourage myself to face failure. I accept this risk as a part of doing business. I will encourage myself to face failure. I accept this risk as a part of doing business. One more time. I will encourage myself to face failure. I accept this risk as a part of doing business. Over to you, Mom. What do you think about this? Scared straight.
I like it. It's interesting. It says every day I run scared. That's the only way I can stay ahead. How do you perceive the run scared? Are you thinking that that this Mr. Johnson is saying he runs fast, quickly?
I think it means that
I run scared.
you know, when somebody runs and they're scared, they run faster.
Right.
Right? Like if you don't think that if you don't know that there's something chasing you, you might not run as fast. But if somebody's on your
Hmm.
tail, and that could be, a competing business, it could be your own insecurities and thoughts of inadequacy, or the imposter syndrome. Like, I'm not really a CEO. I'm not really a businessman. You know what I mean? So I think whatever it is that you're running from or running to, he's saying that he runs scared. Now we might not be, of the mindset to say we're running scared, right? But if it works for him, and if his mind wraps around that, like, no, I have a fear of of losing, even though you might accept the fact that you will lose or you might lose in something. I think him saying, I'm running scared means that he just has a fire under him. Like, I've got to go get it, because if not,
Hmm.
I might lose this moment. I might lose this opportunity. I might lose this business. So that's the way I interpret it. I feel like that's where they were pushing it, especially by the passage. But what do you think?
I think I'm in agreement, and I think the next sentence, that's the only way I can stay ahead. And being that we are journaling through the book, Daily Motivations for African American Success, that's the only way I can stay ahead. We're not, truth be told, our competition is not just with people of another race. It's also with ourselves. I mean, and people who look like us. If we just want to be honest here. So the only way that I can stay ahead, sometimes, most times, um, people of color have to do a bit more, have to run a bit quicker, right? Just to stay ahead. Because in our minds, we're fighting a system that is already against us. We're fighting people who, not all people, but people, there's already a fight. When we get there, on the way there, it's already a fight. And that's why, you guys, the only way we talk about the answer, like Brandon says, when he's blessed, he expects a test. And then we've said to that so what basically about the test, because we have the answer to a test full of questions. And y'all know where I'm going to go with that. Your relationship with God, your faith in God, not your faith in your fear of succeeding or whatever, just your faith in God for the will, for his will. And I know y'all probably get tired of me going back to that, but y'all, that is the way, as Brandon talked about the porch and our elders and how life used to be. That was my thought process. They endured a time and a space where we would probably crumble and die. We stump our toe and life is over. Microwave goes out and life is over. They didn't have microwaves. They didn't have self-cleaning ovens. They didn't have, come on, Brandon, help me, so much. But
Mm-hmm.
what they did have,
Cell phone.
yeah, they didn't have cell phone. Good one, right? Sometimes they walked everywhere. They didn't have cars. We shared cars. Y'all remember that kind of life? You remember one car in the driveway and 20 people in the house? But somehow, you remember 20 people in the house and one bathroom?
Yep, I remember that.
Yes. But the more we've seen um to get, I don't know, the more fearful and needy we are. So scared straight, we didn't look at the title. We just talked about kind of every day I run scared. So scared straight. I'm gonna have to give this one some thought. I like it. It is a good one, but it is one that I have to contemplate more on. It really is. Because I'm kind of figuring running scared. You know, I don't want to run scared. And maybe I'm taking it out of context here. Um, I want to run for sure. But I feel like if I'm running, I get what this is saying, but for me, I ain't gonna run scared. I'm just not. Not in this life, because I feel like it for me it would not work. I did that. Fearful of everything. And most times, y'all, fear comes from what it's about others too. What you think other people will think if you fail. How would you look if you fail? Do you know there are a lot of businesses here today, in spite of KFC, they were like, you gonna sell just chicken? You can't do that. That's not gonna work. And now how many places just sell chicken? And you can't sell yourself to you, let alone other people. You can't sell yourself and your dream to yourself. And then, yeah, if you're running with your dream and you can't sell it to yourself, if you don't believe in it, yeah, you ought to be running scared. You ought to be running scared. And who are you ahead of? Maybe I'll twist it that way. The only way you can stay ahead, because if you're ahead of the people who also could not sell their dream to themselves, then really are you ahead? Or y'all just running in circles? So that's kind of all I have, Brandon. I do love um, how they have looked at the analyze the ingredients of failure, fear, frustration, futility, falling short. For F, anger, anxiety, adversity. You and we've talked about how people just seem to be angry no matter what. We will not find a piece of happiness. Anxiety, you're living you're anticipating the future, right, Brandon? Is what you say on the
Mm-hmm.
anxiety part. And then I for impatience, indifference, impulsiveness. That's one that we should really ponder upon, I think, impulsiveness. So maybe that's a good idea for today, where they have analyzed the ingredients for us Take some time to pick one word. Just pick one word from each section and ponder upon it. For E, I think, oh wow, I think all the words for E would be great to contemplate on. Envy, egotism, emotionalism. There's that ism word. Brandon mentioned some of that yesterday. Egotism and emotionalism. So pick some of those words and spend more time contemplating on them and making them personal, applicable to how they play out in your life. And know that just as there are people that are also fearful of success. We had a show one time long ago that we had some people call in and talk about. We were talking about fear, and they were saying how they're fearful to succeed. We all have our thing, but we all have a responsibility to overcome that thing, to grow through it, whatever it is. So that you, to me, so that you're not, that you're scared straight, meaning straight, you get it, so that you don't have to run scared. Over to you, Brandon.
Thanks, Mom. I appreciate that. Scared straight. Looking at failure, and teasing it out. There's one line in here that really stood out to me. After it breaks down failure, kind of itemizes failure. It says we're probably familiar with some of these characteristics, some of the characteristics you just mentioned, Mom. It says, but the only way to overcome them is to force these culprits into the open and no longer deny them. Right? So if you're scared, say you're scared. At least to yourself, admit it. Don't be immobilized by it. Right? So sometimes fear looks like analysis paralysis. Right? Where you're like, well, I just don't have everything right. I can't do anything until I get this. Or or we'll place something in between us and the outcome we desire. Right? So I'm gonna pick on my wife real quick. Yesterday she was it yesterday or the day before yesterday? She was like, I want to go buy a big 10 cut tub and then put it out back so we can, I can take ice baths after my workouts. I said, girl, just get some ice and throw it in that deep tub in the back, and we got a jacuzzi tub in the back. Just get the ice and throw it in there. We ain't gotta go buy no big no tin thing to put outside, because people have those where they put this big like tin tub outside, and they put ice and water and they sink themselves in there, and they get the benefits of cryotherapy or the ice bath. I was like, no, we can do that right now. We can go get the ice and throw it in the tub, and then let it melt. It'll be water, and drain the water. And I'm not saying that. Yeah, maybe she is. She don't like to be cold. She does not like to be cold. So I could, in my head, I was like, you just don't want to be. It's like mentally, we'll put something in between us and what we want to do or what we know is beneficial to us. We'll say, I need to go there. Oh, okay. Well, this is here, or well, I got to do this first, or you know, um, it's time to sit down and do something or have a hard conversation. We'll say, well, oh, my shoes are untied, or my hair's not right, or I gotta go do this first, or my car needs some gas. It's like you live right next to a gas station, you know. So,
Yeah.
what'd you say?
Fillers,
Yeah, yeah, filler
unnecessary fillers.
and impediments, right? Like we make more. Sometimes there's only first base, second base, and third base. Then it's
Mm.
home plate. But we sometimes we'll be like, well, I'm on second and a half base. I'm on two and a quarter base. I mean, like we don't have to stop in between, because if we do, we're out. We'll get tagged. We'll get stopped, and that ball's gonna get to our next destination faster than we are. So you got to run like you done hit the ball, and it didn't do a home run. You hit the ball, and you got to make it to that plate before that ball get back, right? But if you put steps in between that don't really exist, then you're just slowing yourself down. You're just over analyzing. And what I'm saying is that I believe we do that out of a fear, or or we do that out of being content with where we are right now, as far as being comfortable. We like our comfortability. So for the L word, lethargy and laziness. Lethargy isn't always that you don't have the ability to do something. It's more so that you would rather do something else than what you may need to do, right? It's like a disposition towards being sedentary, right? So just like water, don't be stagnant. Don't stop the moving toward your destination. And just because you're in contemplation, that's still moving. You don't have to do a whole bunch of movement to move, right? You can move internally, you can move externally, but don't put unnecessary checkpoints between you and your destination. If they don't exist, if those impediments and speed bumps don't exist, then don't self-sabotage your success by putting them there. So that's the main part of what I wanted to say, because we all have dreams. Many of us have businesses that we secretly long to launch. Um, and so that third line there at the bottom paragraph says, "Are you avoiding starting your business because of fear of failure?" Right? There's an avoidance that I see in people in regards to their health. I tell people all the time. They say, I want to get in shape. I want to get in shape. I want to get in shape. I say, do you want to run? Do you want to walk and move more? Do you want to get up out of your seat? Do you want to be sore? Because if you're not embracing the struggle of that, if you're not embracing, um, if you're not, my coach calls it embracing the suck. Like, it's gonna suck. It's gonna suck. No one wants to run until they're sore, but everyone wants to have them good looking legs and nice abs, right? But are you willing not only to are you but not only are you willing to go through that, but are you willing to have the experience of, man, I might not be able to lift this weight. I might not be able to. Most people don't want to go, they don't want to run a mile because they don't know if they can run a mile. And they have the fear of how they'll look at themselves if they stop 2 laps in. Because, oh, when I was younger, I could do this, I could do that. But when you were younger, you might not have had those fears of anxiety of, oh man, I don't know if I can do it. So like we have to really take inventory of how we talk to ourselves,
Mm.
how direct we are with ourselves. Do we give ourselves um, do we give ourselves excuses? Do we give ourselves a way out and then call it or and give an excuse? And I've said this before: just because you have a reason does not mean you have an excuse. Just because you have a reason does not mean you have an excuse. You can be successful. You can start that business. You can wake up and go running in the morning. You can eat healthier. You can cut sugar out of your diet, which is the main culprit for Alzheimer's, cancer, diabetes, glaucoma. Everything that you can name just about is from the inflammation caused by sugar. You can, but doctors say that that's the hardest thing for people to give up. They can say, "Yeah, I'll do this. I'll work out," but when it comes to giving up sugar, that's when the excuses come, right? So what part of failure do you possess? And can you hear yourself of that part? Is it the F? Is it the fear, frustration, futility, and falling short? Is it the lethargy and laziness of L? Is it the R, the regret, the remorse, the resentment? Or is it the envy, the egotism, and the emotionalism? It could be any of those things. Or the I, impatience, indifference, impulsiveness. Which one of those do you struggle with the most? Call it out. Y'all can put it in the chat. Which one of those do you struggle with most? I'll read these again. So for F, fear, frustration, futility, falling short. For A, anger, anxiety, adversity. For the I in failure, impatience, indifference, impulsiveness. For the L in failure, lethargy and laziness. For the U in failure, unworthiness and uselessness. For the R, it's regret, remorse, and resentment. And again, for the E, envy, egotism, emotionalism. Call out, call yourself out. Which one do you struggle with most? Let's put it out into the open like that. Like this line says, it says, but the only way to overcome them is to force these culprits into the open and no longer deny them. You have to face failure, just like our affirmation says at the end here. It says, I will encourage myself to face failure. And I accept this risk as a part of doing business. You can't do any business without risk. Entrepreneurs are defined by those who are willing to invest in a business and take the risk of failure. If you don't want the risk of failure, go get a job, a 9 to 5. But know that inherently in a 9 to 5, in a corporate setting, a corporation isn't going to pay you what you're worth. They don't have an incentive to pay you what you're worth. Why? Because that will make them a nonprofit organization. If they paid you exactly what you were worth to the business, how could they turn a profit? Right? So you give up some of that increase in a sense for the security of having someone else run that business, and you're just employed by it. Not just employed because they're great employees, they're great careers in these businesses, but know that the risk is being taken by the CEO, and the decisions and the assessment of that risk and how you respond to that risk are not up to you anymore. They are up to whoever is the owner of that business. So at the end of the day, you are still taking risks, because how many people have been at jobs for 25, 30 years only to be let go because of a number, right? So what you're worth to the business after 25 years is a lot. You've done a lot for that business, right? But there's no loyalty there. This is business. It's all about, are we in the red or are we in the black? And if they can delete you in order to be more in the black, don't you think that they would?
We lost Brandon. I'll say this to you guys. Don't get caught up in the hype. Sometimes people are running and running quickly or running scared for the sake of looking as if they're doing their own business, right? We're in a time where people saying, "Oh, I got my own business. I got my own business." Da 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 da. And this is speaking to me too. How legit, how legit is your business? Sometimes we don't go all in, right? Because that fear, it's out. Okay, it's inevitable. I have fear, so I'm not going to succeed. This is the first year where I looked at my business like wholeheartedly, like I could make $1 million in this business, and I
Mm,
believe it. I believe it. So I've been running, but maybe perhaps I've been running scared, and I'm still stuck on that word scared. Because if you're running scared, I mean, think about think about the anxiety of that, right? So I need another word for scared. I'm sorry, I do, but I just want to say that be sure that you're just not running for the sake of people and the sake of lying to yourself. The greatest lies we tell are the ones that we tell to ourselves, and then we start to believe those lies as truth. So I put out 8 things there to help you overcome fear of failure. You guys take the time, and it's on YouTube and the Facebook as well. If you want me to send that to you directly, you have to request it, and I will. Also, if you're here, pick a word and come back tomorrow and drop that word in the comment section. So what I'll do, because some of you may have popped in, I think some people have popped in, maybe Brandon, since you read over
okay.
the ingredients of failure. So not right away this morning, but sometime today, I will put those words out there. I'm going to pick one. It's going to be difficult, but I'm going to pick one for myself. Brandon, if you'll pick one, and then we could just drop the word in the comment section tomorrow. If anybody wants to drop more about, because I think it's also important once you pick that word. Yesterday was roots. What's the root of that particular word? Ingredients in your cake of fear, in your life of fear. What's the root,
Mm.
right? What's embedded? What has caused you to have this particular ingredients, right? So because we got failure here, I think we should also have analyze the ingredients of faith and compare it in comparison to these words that are the ingredients of failure. So that's all I have, Brandon. Is I have to get going here. Got a lot on my plate today, again, but all is well in the game of life, right?
That's right. That's right. Well, thank you, Mom, and thank you everyone who has attended this show. Um, Failure isn't an easy thing to talk about. The our thoughts of failure, the any insecurities we have about the things that we want to do, that we want to accomplish. Failure is always a risk and a a big elephant in the room of our minds, right? So, how do we overcome that? By agreeing that we will encourage ourselves to face failure. So I'm going to read this affirmation 3 times, and I really want you all to listen to it, to say it, mouth it with your word it out or mouth it amongst yourselves, or say it out loud. And it's at the bottom of your screen. For day 188, the affirmation is: I will encourage myself to face failure. I accept this risk as a part of doing business. I will encourage myself to face failure. I accept this risk as a part of doing business. And last time, I will encourage myself to face failure. I accept this risk as a part of doing business. So thank y'all so much. We thank y'all for tuning in. We had some great comments. Did anybody leave a comment on which one that they are? Let's see. I don't think so. Yeah, like you said, Mo, we can just do it. We can have them do that tomorrow.
Yeah,
But
I might get a chance. Really, let's see. How are we for time? I'll be okay. I'll drop those words in here. Good morning, Gina, Polian Brooks. Thank you for chiming back in with us. Kayla did say that she had to, she said, great read and talk this morning. I hate to jump off early. Y'all have a great day. Mark Walker is back in the house with us. Good morning, Mark. How are you doing? How are you guys in B-Town? I think you're still in Valdosta. I know some bad weather is down there. I need to check on
yeah,
fam down there, but how are things down there? So I think we are caught up on our comments. So I will, right after we're done here, I will put the words out um, on Facebook and YouTube. So y'all bear with me, but I'll do that, and then let's do this. Let's pick a word. Be honest with yourself. What word are you running scared with? That's a good one. What word are you running scared with? We just want one. Now, if you want to pick more for yourself and have more time to contemplate on that, um, please do. Please do. Please do. You deserve it. If you come here and listen, you deserve to do more contemplating so that you can grow. Be a student to your own life. Be a student to your own life. And they say there's a saying, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. Our teacher is God. Our teacher is God who knows the will for your life. So Brandon says when our wants become our needs, life changes for us. Let's want God in our lives. Let's want a relationship, because we do well with focusing on the things we want. We do good with trying to fit in this world,
mm,
right? Buying things of this world. But when it comes to, wow, tending to our soul, The root of it all. We back away. We back. We don't run scared then. Because for this, it says run scared because that's the only way I can stay ahead. Ahead of what? Ahead of who? And when you get to your destination, where will you be? Running scared. Where will you be? So, yeah. So, Gina, the topic was is today scared straight? As you see there, 188 scared straight. So take some time to go back and listen to it. Brandon's going to go back over. She just said that she came in late, so she wasn't sure about the topic. So we always put the topic right there at the screen. So it's scared straight, and we're on 188th day. Take some time to go back and listen. It's pretty short today as far as the reading. And then we're picking a word from the ingredients of failure. So it's about fear of failure. So, all right, Brandon, over to you as we close out.
All right, y'all. Well, thank you again for joining us on In This Season podcast. Do us a favor, do yourself a favor by liking this video, subscribing to the channel, and turning on notifications for more daily motivations for African American success. We are here every single morning at 7 a.m. Central Time. Please share this link with someone that you know and get some more people at this barbecue online so that you can take home a plate, they can take home a plate. You guys have something to talk about, something to work through. Get an accountability partner, if you will, and share this video with them. We'll be right here tomorrow, same time, same place for day 189 of the In This Season podcast. Thank you again. Go out there and be great. Peace.